Creating visible tables on your New York Learns website is useful for a variety of reasons. Of course, one of the main reasons is it's a nice way to organize content on one of your web pages. Another nice reason to use tables is to kind of change up your website design a little bit. Since you're kind of stuck with this white background on all the pages in New York Learns, if you use a table, you can actually put color in the background of the table and color on the borders, and that will make your website stand out a little bit more. So we're going to do an example here on my Helpful Websites webpage where we're going to create a visible table and we're going to organize our websites by various topics or subject areas. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my cursor on the screen in an area about where I want my table to appear, and then I'm going to come over here to my table icon and insert a new table. Now I'm not really sure how many rows and columns I'm necessarily going to need, but I can always add more as I'm going along. So I'm going to do, let's say, 2 columns, and we'll put in maybe about 10 rows to start out with. And the alignment, we're going to put it in the center. I want my table in the center. And unlike what we did before with the invisible tables, we're going to actually change the border size, and all you have to change it is to 1 or 2 or something to that effect so that it will be visible. And then in order to add some color to the background of this table, I'm going to click on my Advanced tab, and you can see down in the section over here where it says Background Color, Border Color, you can actually choose the background color of your table. And you can either use the color picker or you can just go over to the palette and you can pick a color, and the color will appear in a preview in the lower right hand corner. So let's say we're going to pick this color, and then we're going to do a border color. I'm going to click on my palette and I'm going to choose those two, and you'll see a preview of them over here, and then I'm going to click Insert. So as you can see, just like in the previous video, it collapses our table into something very small. But if you click inside one of the cells of your table and actually type some content in it, you'll actually be able to see it open a little bit. So let's say for my first cell, I'm going to type in math. And then I'm going to click inside. Kind of need a magnifying glass to get in here, but if you click over, I can see my cursor is now in the second cell, and I'm going to type in science. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start putting in my websites for this table. So then what I'm going to do is perhaps my first math website would be aplusmath.com. Science, I might have brainpop.com. And we're not really going to go over hyperlinking here. And then maybe I'll put in English, social studies, etc. Now there are other ways if you wanted to add additional rows to this. What you can do is if you right click inside your table, you'll get some options. So I could go down to row, and I could insert a row after, which is what I'm going to do. So if I didn't have enough cells in my table, I could continue to insert rows. If I wanted to insert a column, I could do the same thing. Insert a column before, insert a column after. So now I have another one over here, so maybe I want to add some additional links. Again, you can use that space bar to make your table a little bit larger. And if you wanted to make any other changes to this, so let's say for instance you didn't like the color scheme that you picked, if you right click inside your table again and go over to table properties, it'll bring you back to this pop-up where you can adjust the number of columns, the number of rows, change the alignment. But you can also go over to advanced and you can go back over to border color and background color, and you can make any changes that you want to it. Some just formatting tips when you're creating tables. Let's say for instance I want to highlight the main topics in my Helpful Websites section over here. You can do it all at once by highlighting I'm clicking across the content of the first row. I might want to make it bold. I might want to center all of those. Didn't catch this one over here. And again, you can also at the same time highlight all your content, and you can change the size. These are just some little tips and tricks to make formatting all of this a little bit easier. And as you add content to it, it will get bigger and it will take up more space on your site. So then once we've got our table on here, I'm going to hit save. So now when I view my website and I go to my helpful websites page, I have a nice table which just adds a little bit more jazz to the background of it, and it also, this is a great way to organize my helpful website section.